The matter suddenly became complicated. Suddenly her phone dinged. Fu Yingying sent her a message. Sissy, are you free? Let's go shopping together later. Half an hour later, they met at the malls. The two of them were chatting and laughing together. Then they saw some familiar faces. Sushui and her good friendly Cyan. Cyan was the first to mock, ugly people hanging out with ugly people. What a perfect match. Sushui put on a fake sympathetic face. Don't say that, they must be hurt already, she laughed. Sushui, you're just too kind. Fu Yingying felt sick hearing this. I thought I smelled something bad. Turns out it's someone's bad breath. Sushui's face changed dramatically. She immediately rushed towards Fu Yingying. At this moment, Su Sai stepped in front of Fu Yingying. Her clear eyes looked at Su Shua with a smile. Su Shua, you'd better be polite to Fu Yingying. Otherwise, you'll regret it later. Fu Yingying is Fu Naching's most beloved niece. You don't even know your husband's niece? How stupid can you be? Su Shua was in a good mood, touching her platinum heart of the earth necklace. Me, regret, what important people could you possibly know? Do you know what this is? Li Xin showed off to them. Susiai, this is the star of Earth worth several hundred million. SHWESHW's boyfriend gave it to her. He'll attend Uncle's birthday party tomorrow. Susiai immediately felt annoyed. This meant they were going public. It seemed Su Shy was about to rise up. She was so excited. How's that, jealous? Well, too bad. Susiai, you just don't have such luck. She took out a black card. Walking to the counter, let me pay. Watching their backs, Fu and Ying couldn't swallow this anger. Sissy, this Sushwa is so arrogant. Anyone would think she's marrying my uncle tomorrow. Sushi glanced at the unknowing Fu Ying. What an accurate guess. She pulled Sushi's hand forward. Such a nice day. Why did we have to run into them? So unlucky. I'll take you to a bar tonight to relax. That night at the Tinshang Rongjian Hotel, Sushi, I was a bit worried. Inking, we should go back. If your uncle finds out, he'll definitely be angry, Fu Yinjiang assured her. He's not here anyway. She took out 2 masks, put this on. Let's go dancing. Susai took it and put it on, covering her face except for her eyes. Fu Yinjiang pulled Susai to the center of the dance floor. The heavy metal music was playing, everyone dancing wildly. Fu Yinjiang started moving her hands and feet. She pressed against Susai and did a hot dance. Susai smiled helplessly. Then tonight, let's forget all unhappy things, let's just indulge ourselves. She started swaying her waist like a water snake. The two immediately became the highlight of the dance floor. Many men rushed over, dancing around Susiai and Fu Yingying. At this moment, in a quiet, secluded private room, Fu Nanqing sat in the main seat, his long fingers holding a lit cigarette, his handsome face, his deep, hawk-like eyes penetrating everything fell on the dance floor on those two figures. He had seen them when Susai and his niece came in earlier. He was here for business today. The CEO sat beside him. The CEO noticed him staring at the dance floor and found it strange. Vice President, those two beauties dancing down there looked quite young. So you like schoolgirls? Fu Nanqing lowered his hand to tap the ash into the ashtray. No, that's my niece, CEO Li smiled meaningfully. Oh, so both of them are your nieces. Fu Nanqing immediately lost interest in smoking and stood up to leave. Fu Nanqing strode into the dance floor, his eyes carrying a cold, chilling gaze. It was terrifying. The men in the dance floor were crowding crazily. Someone complained unhappily, who is it? Stop pushing, stop pushing. Soon they saw him and everyone consciously made way for Fu Nanqing. Fu Yingying was startled, feeling dizzy, thinking she was hallucinating. She whispered softly, CSEI, my uncle is here. It was too noisy, so she couldn't hear what Fu Yingying was saying. Fu Yingying pointed behind with her finger. Uncle, my uncle is right behind you. Susai turned around confused. She actually saw Fu Nanqing. Susai really didn't expect to run into him in a bar's dance floor. Her long eyelashes trembled. She called out, Vice President. Fu Nanqing coldly looked at her. Who told you to bring my niece to dance at a bar? The tall, handsome vice president interrogated the little maid. Which man did you give your first time to? She wanted to shout, I gave my first time to you. But she didn't. After the little maid got drunk, she was taken away by a strange man. The trillion-dollar CEO finally panicked, putting down everything to search for her. Fu Nanqing clenched his fists. She was clearly just an insignificant person. Why did he care so much? Susie, I was really tired of his bad temper. Looking up at him, it's my freedom to come dancing. What does it have to do with you? What are you angry about? Fu Nanqing's eyes darkened. He grabbed her hand and turned to leave. Fu Yingying quickly grabbed Susie, uncle, I was the one who brought CICI here. Fu Nanqing's voice was ice cold, slowly spitting out words, shut up, did I ask you? Suddenly a classmate called out to them, Susai, Fu Yingying, you're here to play, our booth is right next door. We're all classmates, come join us. Fu Yingying nodded happily, sure, come on. CICI. She struggled free from his grip. Vice President, this is a young people's gathering. You're busy with work. You don't need to join in, it would make everyone uncomfortable. Food Natching was clearly displeased, looking over with fierce eyes. The classmate immediately responded, no, not uncomfortable at all. Welcome, welcome. The three of them walked over and sat down. The girl beside them immediately whispered, Susie, do you know that person? He's so handsome. He was holding your hand earlier, he looked so reserved. Do you have his WeChat? Susie shook her head. He's Yingging's uncle, I barely know him. Just as she finished speaking, she noticed Fu Nanking staring at her. He mouthed something, barely know me, and Sushi's mind, the scene of sleeping in his arms last night flashed. Half his body was pressing on her, kissing her. He wasn't reserved at all. Someone started dealing carts. Seeing Sushi wasn't moving, they reminded her, what are you thinking about? Drawl, she finally came back to her senses and drew a card. Susie's luck was very bad, she got the smallest card. A male classmate had the highest card. The male classmate smiled. Classmate Susie, I'll ask you a question, do you still have your first time? Susie, I looked up at everyone and honestly answered. No, everyone immediately started shouting, didn't expect you to be so open. Quick, tell us who you gave your first time to. Gunanching's cold, misty gaze fell on his face. Susai smiled bitterly. What had she done to deserve such a look from him? Fu Weaning forced a smile. Xiaoshu, come play too. The second round of the game began. Susai found herself really unlucky as she got the smallest card again. This time, the highest card was in Fu Nanching's hands. He chuckled and slowly leaned forward. My question is, who did you give your first time to? This explosive question once again pushed the atmosphere to a peak. Everyone urged Susai follow the game rules. Quick, tell us who it was. Susai instinctively looked at Fu Nanching. Fu Nanching was also looking at her. She wanted to shout to him, I gave my first time to you, but she didn't. Susai picked up the beer bottle, accepting the punishment. She quickly drank 10 bottles of beer, drinking fast and hard. Fu Nanching kept staring at her, his ears turning slightly red. Susai smiled self-mockingly. She must look really disgraceful in Fu Nashing's eyes. Then she stood up, stumbling towards the bathroom. A few minutes later, as she walked out of the bathroom, young Master Ji blocked her way with a lewd gaze. Looking her up and down, Sushi, I saw you upstairs. Thought it was some pretty girl dancing so seductively. Turns out it's the ugly girl from the Su family. Your face might be ugly, but your figure's not bad. Sushi, I was a bit drunk and didn't want to waste words with this person. She turned to leave. Young Master Ji suddenly grabbed Sushi's waist. She struggled desperately. Let me go. This scene was witnessed by Mr. Lee, who was discussing business with Fu Nanching. He quickly called Fu Nanching. Vice President, your niece was dragged into room 106 by young Master Ji. You better come quickly. At this time, Fu Nanching was still in the hall. He held his phone, looked at Fu Inani, but Sushi was nowhere to be seen. He shouldn't feel strange. In his view, she moved between various men, shameless and lacking self-respect. It would be abnormal if there weren't any men. His chest filled with hostility as he coldly said to Mr. Lee, let her be. Whoever she wants to play with is none of my business. At this moment, Secretary Song came to remind him, President, it's time to go. You have to attend the Su family's birthday banquet early tomorrow morning. At this, Fu Nanking's brows furrowed deeply. If Secretary Song hadn't reminded him, he would have forgotten about the Su family's birthday banquet, forgotten about Sushui, forgotten that he still had a rich wife. Now his eyes and heart were full of Sushi that little maid. His face turned dark as water. He ran out immediately. Arriving at the guest room corridor, he began searching for the room number. He stepped forward and kicked open the door, rushing in. The trillion-dollar CEO finally discovered that the scar on the little maid's face was fake. Below her collarbone, there appeared a 3-petal peach blossom birthmark. Inside the room, Sue's CI struggled desperately, trying to escape. Suddenly, she took out some incense and aimed it at Ji Xiao's nose. Within seconds, he passed out. Fortunately, she had brought the sleeping drug, otherwise the consequences would have been unimaginable. Susai used all her strength to push him away, but his body was too heavy. She couldn't push him off immediately. The next second, she heard the door being opened. Fu Nanching stormed in furiously. Seeing this scene, his brows furrowed deeply. Without a word, he grabbed Jai Xiao's collar. He threw several fierce punches, leaving his face bloody. His punches were violent and merciless. Susai hadn't expected Fu Nanching to come, let alone attack Jai Xiao. She immediately got off the bed, shouting, stop. Fu Nanching seemed not to hear, continuing to punch. Susai watched in horror with no time to think. She rushed over and hugged Fu Nanching from behind, her slender waist pressing against him. Stop, something terrible will happen if you continue. As Susai's soft, fragrant body pressed against him, Fu Nanching tensed up and stopped hitting. He froze for a few seconds. Taking out his phone, he called Secretary Song, room 106, handle this situation. Fu Nanqing grabbed Sushi's delicate wrist, dragging her towards the bathroom. Sushi Ai stumbled as she was pulled in. He turned on the shower and cold water immediately poured down on her. Sushi Ai shivered, looking at him in complete shock. What had gotten into Fu Nanqing? She pushed him away trying to escape, but Fu Nanqing caught her waist and pulled her back. He threw her into the corner, then grabbed the shower head, spraying cold water on her body. He asked, where did he touch you, here or here? Wash clean everywhere he touched. Susie Ai looked at the gloomy-faced man before her long-suppressed emotions finally erupting. She stood up abruptly, food snatching. What did I do to make you constantly humiliate and target me? Food snatching grabbed her hand and pinned her against the wall. His voice rolled out grimly, you didn't offend me, but you seduce me. Susie Ai, every time I meet you, I lose control. It's you who keeps seducing me. Susie Ai felt deeply wronged. Her clean, wet eyes looked at him like a stubborn little beast staring back. Tell me, when did I ever seduce you? Fananqing barely contained himself. Looking at her tear-filled eyes, her fragile beauty intoxicating, he said, right now. Fu Nanqing released her and cupped her small face in his hands, his lips pressed against hers. Susek shrank back. What was he doing? Didn't he hate her? Susek quickly turned her face away, avoiding his kiss. Fu Nanqing, what are you doing? Have you forgotten you're a married man? These words were like ice water poured over his head. Fu Nanqing's tall, straight figure froze. He was indeed a married man. But what was he doing now? Losing control with another woman, he spoke coldly, leave. Susai turned to go, but just then Fu Nanqing suddenly saw that three-petal peach blossom. Earlier when Jishao had torn Susai's collar, the three-petal peach blossom below her collarbone was exposed. Fu Nanqing caught sight of it immediately, his narrow eyes narrowed thoughtfully. With one swift movement, he pulled Susai back again. She started struggling. Nanqing, let me go, didn't you say you wouldn't cheat? You're someone else's husband. Nanqing's gaze turned fierce. As she struggled, he reached out and brushed aside her collar, revealing the rose-colored three-petal peach blossom. It was completely exposed to his view. She actually had this three-petal peach blossom too. This three-petal peach blossom, wasn't it supposed to be on Sushwa's body? The tall, handsome vice president finally realized that the girl who had slept beside him that night was actually his little maid, not his so-called fiancée Xiaoshui. Huge waves of shock stirred in Fu Nanqing's deep eyes. He looked at the long scar on the girl's face. Then he reached out to touch it, rubbing it hard with his fingertips. Soon the edges of the scar began to fade away. This scar was fake. She had drawn it on. Past scenes flashed through his mind like a movie. Fu Nanqing was always a smart and alert person. He immediately guessed what was happening. He had suspected before, but he never thought her facial scar was fake. He stared at the girl before him with dark intensity, like a lurking beast about to pounce and tear its prey apart. Sushi, I hadn't noticed anything yet. Those drinks from earlier are really strong. I can't even push you away. Fu Nanqing, let go of me. If you don't, I'll call Sushui and tell her you're trying to cheat. Fu Nanqing let out a dangerous laugh from his heaving chest. Call Sushui, wasn't this all planned between her and Sushui? Wasn't it Su Shua who personally sent her to his bed? No one had ever dared to scheme against him like this. Fu Nanqing lowered his head and kissed her red lips. Su Si's mind went blank. He was forcing a kiss on her. What did he want? He knew who she was and still did this. He was truly insane. Fu Nanqing picked her up horizontally and strode out of the bathroom. He threw her forcefully onto the soft bed. Su Si felt extremely dizzy. Just as she tried to get up, her vision darkened. The man pressed one knee on the bed, his tall figure looming over her. One hand supported him beside her while the other began undoing his shirt buttons. His movements were wild and unrestrained, full of mature masculine charm. Susai felt scared. The situation had completely spiraled out of her control. Fu Nanqing looked clearly. I'm Su Si, not Su Shwe. Fu Nanqing curved his lips, touching her face. Not Su Shwe. Su Si, you're the one I want to catch. Under the girl's anxious gaze, Fu Nanqing kissed her again. Su Si thought he had gone mad. Fu Nanqing let go. If you dare touch me, I'll report you. He laughed as if hearing a joke. Go ahead, try reporting me. Since being tough didn't work, Sushi, I tried being gentle. Fu Nanqing, aren't you going public with Sushui tomorrow? How can you do something like this the night before? He remained unconcerned. So what, didn't Sushi I also climb into my bed right when I returned home and took over the Fu family at a crucial moment? Got into my bed, Sushi's eyes brightened. If you let me go, I'll stay far away from you and Sushui. You can be happy together, and we can all return to our own lives. Fu Nanqing gripped her chin firmly. So that's your plan? He kissed her lips again. Sleep with me, then push me to Sushui and walk away clean. She started this game, now she wants to end it. It won't be that easy. Su Si accidentally hit her head on the headboard. Her delicate body trembled twice. She closed her eyes. Crystalline tears welled up in the corners of her eyes. Fu Nanqing's heart ached instantly. His large hand covered her forehead bangs. Protecting her head, he planted numerous kisses on her head. Why are you crying? Open your eyes and look at me. Susie opened her eyes, filled with glistening tears, clear and pure. Her pupils were red. Food Natching held her tightly and asked, I heard you're not a virgin anymore. What's the name of your first man? Say his name. Susie felt angry. She hated him. Her nails left several bloody scratches on his muscles as she shouted Fu Nanchang. He smiled. Your clothes are all wet. He placed Sushi's hands on his waist. Won't you undress? Are you shy? Sushi was indeed extremely shy, her small face bright red. The next morning, a melodious phone ringtone sounded in the room, waking Fu Nanchang. Fu Nanchang picked up the phone from the bedside table. It was Su Shuek calling, probably urging him to attend the Su family's birthday party. His eyes still held last night's tenderness as he hung up the call. He held the girl in his arms and continued sleeping. Half an hour later, Susie woke up naturally. She opened her eyes, staring at the ceiling for a while, her eyes full of confusion. Then a man's deep magnetic voice came from beside her ear. Awake, Susie turned her head and saw the man's incomparably handsome face. It was Funanchin. Last night's memories instantly flooded back. It wasn't a dream, she really did sleep with Funanchin. Seeing her terrified eyes, Funanchin curved his thin lips mysteriously. How did you sleep last night? One another round, Susie sat up in fear. Her mind was in complete chaos. She couldn't understand why he had slept with her. Not good, very bad. Just then knock, knock, knock sounds came from the door, followed by the secretary's voice. President, the items you requested are here. Fu Nanking took the items and handed them to Susai. Take this. Susai looked at him and asked, what is this? He said coldly, morning after pill. The tall, handsome vice president, after learning the truth, had severely punished Su Shwe. He publicly took back the emperor's hearts. Fu Nanking's voice was cold and heartless like a knife. Susia, you don't think I'd have children with you? Do you? Take the pill, I don't want any accidents. Susie understood his meaning perfectly. She took the morning after pill and swallowed it in front of him. I've taken it, Vice President, can I leave now? Fu Nanqing warned. About last night, I don't want anyone to know, especially my Mrs. Fu. Susie ignored him and turned to leave. If you didn't want Sushwi to know, you shouldn't have done it. Psycho, just as she walked out, she received a message from Sushwi. It's Dad's birthday today, why aren't you here yet? She just wanted her to witness her going public with Food Nanching, acting like she was being filial. She then got into a taxi. Her mind was filled with thoughts of last night. Doesn't Food Nanching like Sushwi? Why did he touch me? Half an hour later, Su Ci arrived at the Su family banquet hall. A group of people envied Su Shwe greatly. Wow, Shu Shu. Is this the Imperial Star? It's so beautiful. Shu Shu, let's go shopping and get spa treatments tomorrow. Don't forget about us, sisters. Just because you have a rich boyfriend, Su Shwe pretended to be apologetic. Tomorrow might not work, I need to accompany my boyfriend, he's so clingy it's okay. I'll wait for you all. Sashua was thoroughly enjoying all of this, then she saw Sushi arrive. She's still so ugly, doesn't even have decent clothes. While she herself was about to become a legitimate wealthy wife today. Lailan quickly walked up to Susi showing displeasure. Susi, didn't I tell you not to show your face? Do you want everyone to know we have an ugly daughter from the countryside? At this moment, Sushuel walked over, swaying her hips. Mom, I asked her to come. Susu, today I'll show you how I become a wealthy wife. After watching, you'd better give up any inappropriate thoughts. Sushi's expression remained bland, saying nothing. Su Chengran came anxiously. Shu, did you call President Fu? The banquet have been going on for so long, why isn't he here yet? Sushi had called Fu Nanching several times but couldn't get through. Dad, Nanching must be busy. I'll try again, the call still wouldn't connect. She felt slightly uneasy. I stood aside inside. What busy? Fu Nanching is probably still at the bar, who knows if he's even awake. Suddenly a commotion arose. Someone exclaimed excitedly, he's here. Sushwa's wealthy boyfriend had arrived. Sushwi boasted to Sushi, my husband is here, just watch carefully, I will keep my eyes wide open. People discussed among themselves. Has anyone seen Sushwa's boyfriend? No, but we're about to. Someone who can give the Imperial Star must be extraordinary. Soon a figure appeared. It wasn't Food Natching, but an old man. The old man's entrance made everyone's smiles freeze. Instead of the handsome and noble Food Natching, it was a man in his 70s or 80s. The scene erupted in chaos. Su Eric's claimed, oh my god, Shua, is this your wealthy boyfriend? How could you date such an old man? The old man had reached her. Su Shua angrily said, who are you? Who let you in? Someone get him out of here. The old man wore a Zhongshan suit, clearly a butler from a prestigious household. Miss Su, hello, I'm here to take back the Imperial Star. It doesn't belong to you. Su Shuet immediately covered the Imperial Star on her neck. What right do you have to take back my Imperial Star? This Imperial Star is mine. If it's not mine, whose is it? The old man smiled slightly and made a gesture. Two burly bodyguards in black immediately stepped forward. They yanked the imperial star from Sushwa's neck. The brilliant diamond scratched her neck, leaving a bloody mark. Sushwi immediately let out a scream. Leland quickly protected Sushwi in her arms, shouting angrily, "Who are you people? How dare you commit violence in our Sush family home? Help, someone help." Su Changrong, exasperated, glared at Lilan and Su Shua. "Shut up, stop making a scene." After the old man left, the scene exploded. Suer immediately said, "Shua, Shua, I offered to introduce you to boyfriends before. You chose an old man, how could you stoop so low?" Another man also changed his attitude, "Mr. Su. Is this your son-in-law? Wonder if he calls you father or you call him father." Su Shua listened to all their words. She broke down on the spot, collapsing on the ground with a blank mind. She never thought things would turn out like this. After they left, Leland finally asked, "Changran, what's going on? That old man?" Su Shangran cut off Leland's words. "That was Fu Naking's butler. This was all Fu Naking's doing." Su Shua shook her head in disbelief. "What? How is this possible?" The tall and handsome President Fu finally got jealous. The little maid and his nephew went on a secret date. Su Sha kept shaking her head in disbelief. "Fu Nanking wouldn't do this to me. He was fine yesterday. He promised to announce our relationship at the birthday banquet." Su Changrong's face turned purple with anger. He raised his hand and slapped Su Sha across the face. "Useless thing, go figure out how to win back Fu Nanking's heart yourself." After saying this angrily, he left. Sushwei collapsed on the ground, crying miserably. She couldn't understand why Funanchin would be so cruel to her. Then she saw Sushwei standing aside. Sushwei's beautiful eyes were watching her, cold and composed, taking in all her misery. "Sushwei, you've come to laugh at me too." Sushwei smiled slightly. "You know why you're asking. Thank you for specially inviting me to watch this show." After saying this, she turned to leave. Sushwei was so angry, she nearly had a brain hemorrhage. She let out a sharp scream. In the classroom, Susai placed her hand on her abdomen, her face a bit pale. At this moment, Fuya ran over. "Little ugly girl, are you free tonight? Let's go on a date." Susai didn't want to deal with him and started walking away. Suddenly, her body swayed. Fuya immediately reached out to support her. The next second, Susai's vision went black and her body fell limply. Fuyu's expression changed drastically as he caught Sushi eye. "Little ugly girl, what's wrong?" In the study of the Ipinlin villa, the butler brought back the imperial star. "Young master, the imperial star has been retrieved as per your instructions. Please take a look." Fu Nanching, handsome and cold, continued signing documents with his pen without even lifting his eyelids. "Throw it away." Just then there was a knock on the door. Fu Nanking glanced up and said one word, "Enter." The secretary came in just in time to see the butler throwing the imperial star into the trash bin. Such an expensive item worth hundreds of millions, just thrown away. Could it be because Sushwa had worn it? Fu Nanking coldly looked up and asked, "Is the divorce certificate ready?" Secretary Song nodded, "It's done." "President, you now have no connection to Sushwei." In his mind, he recalled the small face beneath him last night, black hair messily tangled around her face, so soft and disheveled, even making men unable to forget afterward. After dealing with Sushwei, it was Sussi's turn. After working for a while, he looked outside. It was already dark. Checking the time, it was already 8 p.m. Why hadn't Sussii returned? Just as he was about to go look for her, Fu and Ying came back. "Uncle, are you staying here tonight instead of going back to the old mansion?" Fu Nanching's handsome brow twitched and he asked displeasedly, "Where's your classmate? Didn't she come back with you?" She suddenly smiled. "Oh, sissy, I saw her with you Bao this afternoon. They must be on a date." As these words fell, the temperature in Fu Nanching's eyes suddenly dropped to freezing point. Fu Ying didn't understand her uncle's expression and sighed to herself. "I thought Sissy could be my little aunt, but it seems she wants to be my sister-in-law instead. Uncle, you've lost your chance." As she spoke, she suddenly stopped because she noticed her uncle's face had become terrifying. Fu Nanking looked at her expressionlessly and tossed over a set of test papers. "Are you that free? Complete these questions." Fu Ying fled in panic. "Taking your anger out on me won't help. Cici is already with brother Fuyu." Financing sat alone, taking out a cigarette and placing it between his thin lips. Taking a deep drag, he thought. "She went on a date with his nephew, just slept in my bed last night, and today she's dating the kid. She's really something." At 11 p.m., a car stopped outside Epinglonville. Susai got out, her face still pale. She had fainted at school earlier, and Fuyu had taken her to the hospital for a 4-drip. That's why she was returning so late. "For you asked concernedly, the doctor said you're allergic to medicine. What kind of medicine are you allergic to?" "Sushi, I had to lie. It's nothing, just cold medicine. Anyway, thank you for today." For you raised his hand and gently patted her head. "What are you saying? You're my girlfriend. Isn't it natural for me to take care of you?" His hand was still patting Sushi's head. At this moment, Sushi's pupils contracted. She saw Fu Nanching on the balcony, one hand in his pocket, his expression unclear in the darkness. He was looking down at them coldly like an emperor. Susai quickly dodged Fu Yu's hand and forced a smile. Young Master Fu all head in first. After saying this, she went inside. Fu Yu shouted, "Little ugly girl, good night, sleep early." But as soon as Susai went upstairs, that tall, cold figure stepped out and blocked her path, blocking her way. With a cigarette between his lips, he stared at her coldly, his expression very unpleasant. Susai looked up at him. "Vice President, do you need something?" His thin lips curled as he lowered his voice. "Where did Susai go playing with my nephew to return so late?" The tall and handsome vice president's jealousy was completely exposed, questioning the little maid. Claiming unfamiliarity even after being intimate, Susai said clearly, "Vice President, we're not close. I don't need to report my private matters to you, right?" Funanching didn't get angry. He took a drag of his cigarette and then blew all the smoke into her small face. The unexpected nicotine smell invaded her nose and mouth. Susai was choked and started coughing immediately. Then his fingers holding the cigarette grabbed her small chin, forcing her to lift her tear-streaked face. He smiled frivolously, claiming unfamiliarity even after sharing a bed. Sushi's pale face flushed red with shame and anger. How could he say such things so casually? She looked at him defiantly. "Vice President, I'm your nephew's girlfriend now. Do you need to monitor where we go on dates to?" Fu Nacking's fingers tightened on her chin. The smile completely gone from his face. "Were you this sharp-tongued when Fuyu kissed you?" Sushi Ai was in pain from his grip. She looked at him and parted her red lips, showing a bit of her red tongue, her lively eyes full of defiance. "What sharp tongue?" Like this, Fu Nacking's face darkened, but his Adam's apple still couldn't help but bob. How did she become so rebellious, full of defiance, and so provocative? Fu Nanching's handsome brows reddened with anger as he spoke carelessly, laughing bitterly. "Looks like I was prepared correctly. Otherwise, if you got pregnant, we wouldn't know if it's the nephews or the uncles." Before he could finish speaking, Susie's eyes narrowed, and she raised her hand to slap his hateful, handsome face hard. A crisp, slapping sound rang out. Fu Nodjing's handsome face was struck sideways. He slowly turned his face back, staring at her fiercely. She actually dared to hit him. Susie's palm was tingling. She had used all her strength to slap him. She thought this slap should have been given last night when he forcefully took advantage of her. She brought her small face closer. "Vice President, why don't you hit me back? After all, you're the high and mighty figure. With just a move of your finger, you can make me disappear from each city. Torture me however you like." Fu Nanching clenched his fists. Looking at her delicate face, he ultimately couldn't bring himself to hurt her. He finally left in anger. Susai went into her room, feeling pain in her stomach. Fu Nanching had bullied her since their first meeting, step by step pushing her into the abyss. But she wasn't Su SHWA. Fu Nanching didn't know. He didn't know about her drug allergies either. He knew nothing. He was simply a complete bastard. Several days later, Susai returned home, opening her bag for keys. She found she hadn't brought them. She had to call Fu Ying. "I forgot my keys." "When can you come back?" Fu Ying's anxious voice came through. "I can't get back right now. There's another key with my uncle. I'll send him a message. You go get the key from him." Before she could say anything, the call ended. Now she had no choice but to find Fu Nanching for the key. In a private room at Song Hotel, Fu Nanking sat in the main seat, playing cards with a group of young masters. He wore a white shirt with the collar button undone, his expression cold and silent. Songzaline whispered, "My second brother's been in a bad mood these days. Who upset him? His temper is quite bad." When Sheoxian told him not to mind Nanking, saying he'd adjust himself, Songzaline couldn't help but speak up. "Brother, Fuji Jewelry selected 10 spokespersons today. All types, each one prettier than the last. Should we invite some to join us?" Fu Nanking lifted his beautiful eyes to look at him. "Do you have something to say?" Acting as if he hadn't spoken, Song Zilin immediately shut up. Suddenly, a woman's voice rang out. "Vice President," she timidly approached, her voice soft and sweet. "Vice President, let me help you with your cards." Fu Nanking only turned his head to look once. Expressionlessly saying 2 words, "Get out," his mind wandered to Susai again. Not a single word of submission from her, only knowing how to make him angry. When Shout Xian raised his eyebrows, "That's not right. Nanching, isn't this your type?" Song Zilin laughed loudly. "What's the point of being plain? I say you need someone sexy. There's a supermodel called Su Air who's really hot. Interested?" Second brother, Fu Nanching smoked while looking down at his phone. He coldly said one sentence. "No need." Su Air was applying lipstick in the main hall. Soon she saw Susi's face in the mirror. She immediately turned to look. "Susi, I wanted to pretend not to see her but finally called out, 'Sister.'" She stepped forward and scolded. "This is Song's territory. Who do you think you are to come here? Leave quickly before you cause trouble and implicate me." Susie's cold eyes looked at her. I'm here to find someone, I'll leave once I find them. She mocked, finding someone, how could you know anyone here? Who are you trying to fool, Susai? Know your place. Just then Secretary Song came over. He respectfully said in a low voice, Miss Sue, please follow me. Susai followed Secretary Song into the VIP room area. Sue Air watched furiously. What's going on? How can she go in there? What big shot has this ugly woman hooked? The tall and handsome vice president, wanting the little maid to sleep with him, immediately thought of a plan. He sent Sushwe a message, come keep me company tonight. I want to see your three-petal peach blossom birthmark properly. Fu Nanchun kept looking down at his phone when Shout She In and Song Xylene whispered just now. How many times has he checked his phone? Nanching must be waiting for a woman's message. Impossible, we just sent one away. My second brother has such high standards, who could catch his eye? Just then Sushi walked in. Vice President, I'm here for the key. When Xiaoxian and Song Zilin saw Sushi, I naturally noticing the scar on her face. He was very surprised. You must be joking. Sus, I frowned and repeated, President Fu, can you give me the key? Fu Nanching looked at her red, watery eyes and that fragile face, couldn't help teasing. It's in my suit jacket. Come get it yourself. Sus, I slowly walked over. Her body lightly brushed against Fu Nanching's skin as she quickly searched the suit pockets. Fu Nanching's lips curled slightly, finding it amusing. Susai looked up at him, Vice President, I've looked. It's not in the pockets, he smiled. Is that so? Maybe I remembered wrongs. Look again, Susie, I had already realized he was playing with her and wouldn't fall for it again. If you don't want to give it, forget it. I'll stay somewhere else today, she was about to stand up. Unexpectedly, Fu Nanqing held her down, she struggled desperately. Fu Nanqing let go, just then a familiar voice rang out. Susai and Fu Nanqing turned their heads. It was Fu Yu. He came over and asked, Xiao Shu, we were just at the next table, didn't see you earlier. Why are you with CICI? Susai explained. I came to see the vice president about something, I accidentally fell. Fu Yu put his hand on her shoulder, oh, have you finished your business? My friends are here too, perfect timing to introduce you. The next second, Fu Nanqing's face darkened as he heard Susai say, yes, I'm done. As your girlfriend, I haven't met your friends yet. Song Zilin couldn't understand what was going on. How could that ugly woman be Fu Yu's girlfriend? Fu Nanqing's gaze remained fixed on her, showing clear displeasure. Seeing her chatting and laughing with Fu Yu, sitting softly and obediently beside him, they were indeed of similar flower-like age. The air was filled with the sweetness of young love. Fu Nanqing was very unhappy. He silently lit a cigarette and took out his phone to send Su Shwe message. Come keep me company tonight. When Su Shwe saw Fu Nanqing's message, she immediately got excited. He wanted her to come keep him company tonight. Finally, she had waited for this day. She hurriedly replied, honey, I'm coming right now. She had already bought CC perfume. This time she would take the initiative. She must make Food Nanching acknowledge her status publicly. She thought Food Nanching wouldn't message again, but just then, dang, another message from Food Nanchan came in. Tonight, I want to take a good look at your three-petal peach blossom birthmark. The smile on Su Shui's face hadn't even fully bloomed before it withered. What birthmark? She didn't have that birthmark. Could it be Su Ci's birthmark? Then tonight would benefit Su Ci. Again. She could only let Su Ci be her substitute to accompany Food Nanching again. Finally, she angrily called Su Ci. Su Ci's phone rang in the private room. She looked at the caller ID. It showed Su Shui. After answering, Su Shui's gritting voice came through. Su Ci, where are you now? I don't care where you are. Quickly go to Song's club to accompany Fu Nanqing. She quickly lowered her voice. Su Shwe, I warn you, don't bother me. I won't be your substitute anymore. Su Shwe used the jade pendant as an excuse again. Haven't found the jade pendant, right? I know its exact location in the Su family. Keep Fu Nanqing happy tonight. And I'll tell you tomorrow morning. Fu Nanqing watched the girl in the corner of the sofa, her fingers tightly gripping the phone. She seemed both angry and frustrated, biting her moist lower lip so hard it almost broke. It was clear that tonight she didn't want to accompany him, but this game had started and it wasn't up to her anymore. It was getting late and Fu Yu decided to take Sushi home. Fu Nanqing was also preparing to leave, followed by Wen Xiaoxian and Song Zilin. They happened to see Su Si seeing Fu Yuoth. They whispered, second brother, you haven't really fallen for that ugly woman, have you? She's your nephew's girlfriend. It's the first time Nanqing has let a woman get so close. Whatever it is, it's his private matter, don't worry about it. He took out his phone and made a call. The other party quickly answered, how is it? Is Vice President Song willing to see me? He said, my second brother doesn't want to see anyone today, we'll see about later. Su Air said coquettishly, it's okay. Actually, I saved you by chance last time, I didn't expect anything in return. Hearing this, he was very moved. You're too kind. How can you compete with those scheming women? Don't worry, I'll definitely help you. Sue Air slowly curved her red lips. I just admire the vice president's talent. Everything else should just happen naturally. I have to go now, she hung up and laughed. This fool is so easy to deceive. As for that Sue CI, who knows who she's hooked up with? She's ugly but quite skilled. Just then she saw Sue CI talking with a pot-bellied man. So this is the big shot that the ugly clown caught? Suira immediately took out her phone. With a click, she took a photo. Looking at it, Suira smiled eerily. She wouldn't allow anyone to be above her, especially not this little clown. The little maid could actually translate various languages. When the chinny president learned this, he loved her even more. Because she was in such a hurry, she accidentally bumped into a pot-bellied man. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. Susie, I apologized, then ran into the hotel. She went into a bathroom. She removed the scar from her face, revealing her cold, beautiful face. This time she must get back that Jade pinned it. Then she came to room 6901. She reached out and knocked. The door opened quickly. It was Secretary Song. He respectfully said, Madam, the president has urgent work to handle. Please wait a moment. Susai walked in and saw the documents on the table. What's that? He answered, Madam, those are French documents that are needed immediately. The translator is late. We're still looking for someone. Susai, having nothing else to do, said, I'll translate it. Half an hour later, Fu Nanching returned. He saw Susai sitting there, seriously translating French documents. At this moment, his deep, magnetic voice sounded. Did you study French in university? Su Ci looked up at his chiseled, handsome face. She shook her head, no, I learned it by myself for fun. Fu Nanching glanced at her translation. It was flawless, with key points highlighted in different colors. Self-taught yet not inferior to the translators in his food corporation. How many more hidden talents did she have that he didn't know about? He tilted his head and asked how many languages she knew. Susai, I raised an eyebrow, certainly not as many as President Fu, I'm just an ordinary person. He casually played with her hair, be my translator for today, should I pay you? Susai, I hurried. No need, he asked again, then how about a reward? Just as Susie I was about to speak. His cool, soft lips pressed against hers, steadying her. Susie's pupils contracted. Her mind went blank, so this was the reward he meant. She reached out to push him away, don't do this. Fu Nanking stared at her with deep eyes. Have you forgotten your identity, your Sushwei, my Mrs. Fu? Susie's struggling immediately stopped, right? She was Sushwei, she couldn't resist at all. Resistance would make him suspicious. Seeing her stop moving, Fu Nanking wrapped his arm around her slender waist, holding her in his embrace. Relax, it's normal for husband and wife to be intimate. Tears welled up in Susie's eyes. Sushwei was his Mrs. Fu, then why did he have to touch her before? She covered his mouth with her hand and asked, husband, a few nights ago, I saw you in the same room with that sushi eye. Why were you with her? Fu Nacking's thin lips curved. The little liar was still lying. So he had to lie too. I was drunk that night and mistook her for you. I really hate that mate. She can't compare to you. You're the one I like. Sushi's face darkened, so that was the reason. That night he was drunk and mistook her for Sushi Eye. Sushi Eye forcefully pushed him away. She got up and went into the bathroom, feeling nauseated. Fu Nanking followed and saw her standing by the sink, washing her hands with cold water. Her long eyelashes drooped, clearly showing her bad mood. He stood behind her, arms around her waist. Why are you angry? Sushi Eye struggled, not wanting his touch. Let go of me. Just then her waist hurt as the man sternly tightened his grip and lifted her onto the counter. Mrs. Fu, am I too easy going with you? Susie's eyes reddened, Financing, please calm down my body. He interrupted her, teasing, your period hasn't ended. Your period has been going on for almost a month now. Susie's eyes stared at him steadily, speechless. The atmosphere became awkward at this moment. Suddenly Fu Nanking lifted her thighs. Sushi I turned her head away, extremely embarrassed. He kissed her again, but her mouth remained tightly closed. Fu Nanking laughed in frustration, deliberately provoking me. Your mouth won't open? His large hand pinched her small face until her mouth formed a diamond shape. He kissed her again, but this time without the previous gentleness and consideration, disregarding her feelings. Suddenly, he deliberately called out Sushwi. That's what she got for deliberately spoiling the mood. Susie's expression turned unpleasant. Her delicate white fingers climbed up his strong shoulders, opening her mouth pitifully. Then she bit him hard. Food Natching immediately let out a painful sound. The next second, he took off his clothes. His broad chest muscles were exposed, truly enviable. At this moment, Susai spoke. Funanching, did you buy that? I don't want to take medicine, he held her. He smiled, curving his lips. Why call me Funanching? Call me husband, let me hear it. The tall and handsome vice president had already figured it out. The little maid was acting with Suchui. Since that's the case, he would play along. A game of 3 people, see who loses completely in the end. Early morning, Sue's eye was already awake. She opened her eyes. Funinching hadn't left yet, he was sleeping with her in his arms. She got up and dressed, feeling sore all over. Today she must find Su Shui and ask where the jade pendant is. Then she turned and left the room. After the door closed, the man on the bed opened his eyes. Actually, he had woken up when she moved. Funinching sat up and made a phone call. Asked where she went. Secretary Song answered that Ms. Sushi, I want to see Ms. Sushway still downstairs. In the downstairs bathroom, Sushway sarcastically said, hurry up and change my clothes. Why are you coming out later and later? Don't tell me you really want to be a rich man's wife. Sushway didn't want to waste words. Sushway, where's the jade pendant? She threw a piece of clothing at her. Sushway became angry and directly questioned. Did you sleep together again? Sushi, I remember your place. You're just a dash at this moment. A voice interrupted, what's going on? They both looked up. They saw Food Notching's tall and straight figure walking out. He had come out so quickly. Sushwa immediately reacted and hurriedly put on her clothes. She prettily went to greet him, calling husband in a sweet voice. I was saying how happy I was last night. Fu Nanking turned his head, looking tenderly at Sushi. I was happy too. Do you have time? I'll take you shopping. Sushwa immediately got excited. Really? I'm free anytime. No, today she must find out where the jade pendant is. Otherwise, Sushwe might change her mind again, so she called out to wait. I'll come too. Sushwe was stunned, clearly unwilling. Sushwe, this is our couple's date. Why are you coming? But Fu Nanking was happy to let her come. She can help carry bags. Sushwe didn't dare upset him, so she could only nod okay. The three got into a car. Fu Nanking was driving. Sushwe sat in the passenger seat, unable to contain her happiness. Sushwe sat alone in the back. Fu Nanking smiled meaningfully. Sushwa, you're so strange. You keep calling me husband during the day, why don't you call me that at night? Sushwa sweetly said, husband, if you want to hear it, I'll let you hear plenty tonight. Good, I look forward to it. Listening to them talk like this, Sushi, I felt uncomfortable. This meant if she was being a substitute, she would have to sweetly call him husband like Sushwa. Fu Nanching looked at the restless girl in the back seat through the rearview mirror and snorted. Since Sushi wanted to play this three-person game, he would play along until the end. Soon they arrived at the mall. Sushi saw Sushi looking around everywhere. She sarcastically said, Sushi, what are you looking at? There's nothing here you can afford. Suddenly Sushi spotted a bracelet. Husband, look how beautiful this one is. Funanching gave her an indifferent look. I left some documents in the car. Go get them for me? Sushwa definitely didn't want to. Husband, can't Sushi go? He said coldly, these documents are highly confidential. I'll only trust you with them. The word darling made Sushwa melt completely. Moreover, this was his 100% trust in her. Business secrets, Sushi wasn't worthy to handle them. Okay, husband, I'll go right now. The tall and handsome vice president finally followed his heart's desire and gave the little maid a noble diamond bracelet. He even protected her in front of Saoskwa. Saoskai watched Saoskwa walk away. How gullible. If they were confidential documents, how could they be carelessly left in the car? At this moment, the female store manager brought over a diamond bracelet. Sir, this bracelet, it's made with 6 sets of top-grade pink diamonds. The design is very dreamy. Which lady will be wearing it? Fu Nanching looked at the bracelet, quite satisfied. Then his gaze fell on Sushi. For her to wear, she looked at Fu Nanching in shock. Wasn't it for Sushui? Could it be because Sushui wasn't here? Was she just trying it on? The store manager took the diamond bracelet and placed it on Susie's delicate wrist. The girl's fair wrist with the diamond bracelet made her look even more like fine porcelain. Exceptionally beautiful. Even Fu Nanching couldn't help but smile. Last time the polar star went to the wrong person. This time this bracelet has finally found its rightful place. Just as Susai was about to take it off, he stopped her. He threatened, don't take it off. If you dare remove it, I'll let everyone know we slept together. Susai frowned, thinking he had truly gone mad. Fu Nanking raised an eyebrow, his gaze fixed on her small face. Accept the bracelet and we're even. Stop talking nonsense in front of my Mrs. Fu. I love my wife very much and don't want you affecting our relationship. Her heart chilled at his words. I won't say anything, I don't want the bracelet. Fu Nanking looked down at her. If you don't want the bracelet, do you want me? Don't be greedy, I don't belong to you. Then he handed over a black card to pay. At this moment, Sushui rushed back as quickly as possible. Husband, did you remember wrong? I searched the car twice. There weren't any documents you mentioned. Fu Nanking's handsome features remained indifferent. I must have remembered wrong. Sushui greedily looked at the jewelry and diamonds. Husband, let's look at more accessories. That diamond bracelet just now is especially beautiful. Fu Nanking turned to leave. Suddenly remembered, I have an important meeting. Can't accompany you anymore. Sushui looked completely disappointed. Wasn't he supposed to buy her jewelry and diamonds? She just ran one errand and hadn't bought anything. At this moment, Sushui's sharp eyes noticed the diamond bracelet on Sushi's wrist. Sushwi, isn't this that bracelet from earlier? Why is it on your wrist? Husband, did you buy it for her? Sushwi was about to explode with anger. Sushwi, I never realized you were so skilled. In just a moment, you got a man to spend money on you. Sushi, I reluctantly said, I didn't ask for what you like, take it quickly. Sushwa raised her hand to slap Sushi's face. Sushi, you slut, just as she was about to strike. A cold, agile, large hand reached out and grabbed Sushwa's wrist. Fu Nanking's tall, imposing figure stood in front of her. Why was he protecting her? Wasn't he supposed to like Sushwe? He took Sushi's hand and was about to leave. His voice cold, I bought it for her. If you have any problems, come find me. Watching the two of them leave, Sushwe felt like she would explode on the spot. She thought the most urgent matter now was to get a three-petal peach blossom birthmark. She must become an identical copy of that little maid. Just when she was starting to have some good feelings toward the billionaire CEO, he crushed them himself. The tall and handsome vice president only saw her as a bedmate. Sushi, I followed behind the man out of the mall entrance. Her soft, delicate hand was held tightly in his palm. That broad, warm temperature was comforting. Sushwi was completely enraged. Being so angry now, she definitely wouldn't tell him where the jade pendant was. He stopped walking and asked, why did you protect me just now? You're my woman, so what's wrong with me protecting you? Sushi, I quietly objected, I'm not your woman. Funanching curved his lips. Then whose woman are you? Your nephew's. Sushi, I opened her mouth to explain. But Funanching said, don't get entangled with my nephew. I don't have a habit of sharing bedmates. The word bedmate felt like cold water being poured down, extinguishing her excited heart, extinguishing the warmth left in his palm. So he just saw her as a bedmate. Without looking back, he said, I'm going on a business trip. Call me if anything happens. Then Su Si received a call from the Su family mansion. Ms. Wan has secured the position as food jewelry spokesperson. In a few days, the old madam will hold a celebration banquet at the mansion. Don't forget to come. She replied, all right, I'll be there. When sleepiness comes, a pillow arrives. She was worried about not being able to contact Sushwa these days, but she had to attend the family banquet. A few days later, the old madam held her hand and repeated good 3 times. Good, 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 our Warner has made something of herself, becoming food jewelry spokesperson. Successfully getting an invitation to Food Corporation's banquet. You're one step closer to the Food Corporation. Suwon said, grandmother, why are you teasing me about such a small matter? Sujun deliberately mocked Warner, being modest in front of family. The food banquet isn't something anyone can attend. Like your sister's family, they didn't even get one invitation. Sujwa's face immediately darkened. Now everyone was envying Suer. Suddenly, she noticed the diamond bracelet on Susa's wrist. When did she have money to buy jewelry? She suddenly spoke coldly, Susi. Why don't you bring your boyfriend to visit? I saw you both the other day. Leland was shocked on the spot. Susi, you have a boyfriend? Who is he? Susi held back her temper and impatiently said, I don't have a boyfriend. Suer pulled out photos from her phone. Stop hiding it. This is Susi's boyfriend. And the photo was a pot-bellied bald man who looked over 50. Everyone laughed that it was embarrassing. They couldn't believe she could stomach it. Looking like that, she should be grateful to find anyone at all. Susi directly denied it. I have no relationship with this man. Suer pulled open her collar. The red marks on her shoulder were quickly exposed. Sushi, you say there's no relationship? What's this? There was an immediate uproar. Sushi's red lips curved slightly, letting out clear words, take your hand off. Suer looked at Sushi's eyes, gritting her teeth tightly. Susai, how do you talk to me like that? As soon as the words fell, Susai's fair hands reached out and grabbed her wrist. Then with a gentle twist, a crisp, bone-breaking sound rang out. When the intense pain swept through, she immediately let out a scream. Old Madame Su and Su Jun immediately rushed over, protecting Suer in their arms. Doctor, quickly call a doctor. Susie, how dare you lay hands on your cousin? Your cousin is a supermodel and food spokesperson. If anything happens to her, even 10 of your lives wouldn't be enough compensation. Susie's face remained calm. She attacked first. I warned her, but she didn't listen. I was just defending myself. Suer broke out in a cold sweat from the pain. Grandmother, it hurts so much. I think my bone is broken. Susie, I turned to leave. Looks like I won't be having this meal. Su Shua, remember to come find me half an hour later. Suer opened her phone and started searching for the diamond bracelet Susie was wearing. She found it quickly. When she saw the price, she gasped. It was so expensive. How could Susie afford it? But at this moment, her heart was burning with envy and jealousy. Suddenly, she thought of something. She made a phone call. Young Master Song, I need your help with something. Songzaline was quite pleased. Tell me there's nothing I can't handle in your city. Suer revealed a sinister smile. It's about my sister Susie. The other day, she was in a hotel with an old man, bringing shame to our family. The family wants to teach her a lesson, but can't. Young Master Song, can you help me? Song Xiling immediately agreed, don't worry, I'll teach her a lesson. After hanging up when Shaokyan looked up at Song Xiling, Xiling Nanching is still away on business. You'd better not touch Susai, but he dismissed it. Brother Shao, she made my second brother a cuckold. How can I let her off? She must be taught a lesson. Susie I was taking things to visit her grandmother at the hospital. Just as she arrived, she received a call from the hospital. Hello, Miss Sue, please come quickly. Young Master Song has broken into your grandmother's ward. We can't stop them. Upon hearing this, Susie's heart panicked. The things in her hands crashed to the ground. She rushed to the ward immediately. Susai recognized this man at once. He was the one playing cards with Fu Nanching in the private room that night, Fu Nanching's good friend. The Song family's young master, Song Zilli, demanded. Young Master Song. What do you mean by this? Song Xialing stood up and came to her face. He scolded, I mean nothing, just telling you not to have thoughts you shouldn't have. Don't seduce people you're not worthy of. Susai coldly stared at him. Are you sick? Song Xiling saw she wouldn't take the easy way. He ordered people to remove her grandmother's oxygen mask and throw her out of the hospital. A cold, murderous intent appeared in her eyes. Problem, he came when she needed him most. Song Xiling jumped up in pain, gritting his teeth. Sushi Ai, you clearly don't know your place. Just wait, no hospital in your city will dare take your grandmother. As he left, he gave her one last gloomy glare. Suze quickly checked her grandmother's pulse. Thanks to her heart medicine, her grandmother's heart rate was still normal despite having the oxygen mask removed, but they needed to reconnect the oxygen mask quickly. Soon the doctor came in. Miss Sue, we dare not keep the patient anymore. She laughed bitterly. Your hospital is eager for a lawsuit. The media in your city will laugh who knew someone would be so eager to feed themselves trouble. In the end, they only gave Susai a few hours to transfer hospitals. Susie took out her phone and made a call. The other end quickly connected and a charming male voice came through. Hello, CC, senior brother. How long would your fastest medical team take to get here? From the other end at school, it would take until tomorrow at least. What's wrong, Susie? I was anxious. Grandmother can't wait, but no local hospital will risk offending the Song family. He gave a suggestion. Since you've offended the Song family, you can only go to Fu Hospital. Fu Nanching has been wanting you to blend perfumes for him. He'll surely do you this favor. Then he hung up, putting down the phone. Susie stayed by her grandmother's bedside. She had thought of Fu Nanching earlier but didn't want to ask him. But grandmother couldn't wait any longer. She needed the oxygen mask. Susai hesitated before finding his phone number. When she dialed, the call was suddenly answered. Susai said hello, but it wasn't Fu Nanching who answered. Instead, it was a very sweet voice. Hello, the vice president is taking a shower. May I ask who's calling? Sus hadn't expected that he would have a woman with him on his business trip. She immediately hung up. She realized how inappropriate it was to call him. What was she to him? At most, just a bedmate. Perhaps just one of his many bedmates. Just then her phone lit up. Funanchin was calling back. Was it him calling or that woman again? Sushi didn't answer. The phone kept ringing. He called several times, but Sushi still wouldn't answer. Soon there was a knock at the door. Someone had come. She went to open the door. Outside was a well-dressed man in a suit. Hello, Miss Sue. I'm the CEO's executive assistant. The CEO sent me to ask if Miss Sue needs any help. Since he had sent someone, Food Notching's people were all super efficient. They had probably already understood the situation on their way here. Don't worry about this. I've already notified Fu City Hospital. Half an hour later, grandmother was in a VIP ward with the oxygen mask reconnected. Susie's tense heart finally relaxed. Thank you for your trouble. The assistant handed over a phone. No need to thank me. It's all the CEO's orders. Please take this video call. Susai took it and saw that familiar, handsome face. Fu Nanking looked at her through the screen, his brows slightly furrowed. He asked softly, why didn't you answer my calls? Sus casually replied, didn't hear it. He chuckled and called her little liar. What were you thinking, female secretary? His words made Sus blush. Why are you talking about that? I wasn't thinking anything. Fu Nanching showed with his phone. That secretary has been working the whole time. No time for anything else. Noticing their conversation becoming intimate, Susai hurriedly tried to end the call. You don't need to explain anything to me. It's fine, I'm hanging up. You have a meeting, can't talk much. Stay calm at the hospital, we'll discuss the rest when I return. After they ended the video chat, the assistant respectfully said, Ms. Sue, the hospital has arranged high-level care workers and a professional medical team for you. If there's any emergency, just call me. I'm on standby. Susie returned the phone, saying thank you. Susie sat by her grandmother's bedside. This time she was grateful to Fu Nanching. It seemed that whenever Fu Nanching appeared, her chaotic world would become peaceful. As night deepened, being too tired, she fell asleep leaning on grandmother's bed. At this time in the corridor outside, steady footsteps could be heard. Then the hospital room door opened. Fu Nanking had returned. The man came late at night, wearing a suit, having rushed back travel worn. His eyes fixed on Su Sai. He came to the bedside and touched the cheek of the sleeping girl who was lying on the bed. She was only this well-behaved when sleeping. Susai felt something cool and ticklish on her face, as if someone was teasing her. She opened her eyes groggily. She actually saw Fu Nanking. Looking at her slightly silly and cute appearance, Fu Nanking smirked, too sleepy to recognize me. After confirming she wasn't seeing things, she suddenly stood up. Vice President, you're back, weren't you on a business trip? Fu Nanking spoke softly. Work's done, how's your grandmother? Susie, I nodded gently. She's stable, thank you, Vice President. He took Susie's hand and walked towards the bathroom. Inside the bathroom with the door firmly closed, Susie's heart tightened. Vice President, what do you want to say? Can't we talk outside? I really want to thank you for this. Fu Nanking held Sushi Ai in his arms, interrupting her. Is this how you thank people? He had thought about it before. It wasn't appropriate for her to ask him for help. Sure enough, he came for revenge now. Vice President, how do you want me to thank you? I know you helped me because of Sushui. How about I treat you both to dinner sometime? She brought up Sushui to remind him of his married status. Fu Nanking was clever enough to understand. His smile unchanged. No need to tell me that. Why do you smell so good? Sushi's delicate body stiffened, her heart racing. I used Lily sandalwood shower gel. If you like it, I can give you one. Fu Nanking gently caressed her small face. Sure, give me one. We like the same things. Sushi I pushed against his lean chest with both hands. Vice President, please show some restraint. He spoke teasingly. My secretary said you called, said Vice President once and hung up, then wouldn't answer when I called back. What happened? Susie's fair face instantly burned red. She didn't speak. Funanching grabbed her small chin, forcing her to look up at him. Did Song Xiling give you trouble? The tall, handsome vice president was good at conversation. After playing hero, he asked the little maid for a reward. Su Xiai logged into Su Shui's account, refusing to sleep with him. Unexpectedly, the billionaire CEO noticed she was the little maid. He even wanted her to send a voice message calling him husband. She hadn't felt wrong before, but now with his question, her eyes turned red. Song Xiling said, I seduced you, that I'm not good enough for you. Who does he think he is? Who seduced you? Fu Nanching looked at her watery red eyes, pure pupils rippling. This broken feeling made him itch. His prominent Adam's apple bobbed up and down. He half-jokingly consoled her. His thumb moved from her neck to her crimson lips. I know he wronged you. Now that I'm back, I'll beat him up right away. Would that make you feel better? Susai tried hard to push him away, frowning in distress. Let me go, Fu Nanching's lips curled up, pressing her even closer. Susai, I helped you. Shouldn't you repay me? The overly handsome man exuded charm. What do you think? What can you use to repay me? Susai's fair face radiated heat. I don't know. His gaze fell on her crimson lips, staring intently. Then let me give you a hint. The next second, his tall, straight figure slowly pressed closer, moving towards her red lips. What was he going to do? Kiss her, but she turned her head away first. He took off the watch on his wrist. His deep voice sounded above her head. You thought I was going to kiss you, so he wasn't going to kiss her. She had presumed too much. She wished she could find a hole to crawl into. Fu Nanking's legs passed by her side, turning on the faucet behind her. He washed his hands while she felt uncomfortable. If he wanted to wash his hands, fine. But why use this position? After a while, he finally turned off the faucet and smiled. How will you repay me? Figure it out yourself. I irritably scratched her head. This was absolutely infuriating. Then Fu Naching turned and left. Song Xiling sat in the luxury private room, still looking gloomy. That country-bumping girl had really stood up to him, making him still ache. Someone asked, young Master Song, what's wrong? Who upset you? He was in a bad mood. Mind your own business. Then he glanced at his subordinate. Go check if that woman knows her place. If she dares stay in each city, you'll... Before he could finish, bang, the luxury room's door was kicked open. Song Xiling was about to curse. Who dares? But the next second he froze because Fu Nanking walked in. He stood up. Second brother, you didn't tell me you'd be back early. Fu Nanking ignored everyone else. He just strode to Song Xiling's front, then raised his hand. The next second his fist slammed hard into him with a loud bang. Song Xiling fell onto the nearby sofa, seeing stars from pain. Second brother, what are you doing? Fu Nanking's throat emitted a terrifying sound. Who told you to mess with Sushiai? That country bumpkin. Second brother actually punched me for that clown. Fu Nanking's handsome jaw tightened as he warned. Remember this, she's mine, don't touch her. He slumped on the ground, trembling in fear, not daring to say another word. Fu Nanking turned and strode away. Sushiai was still at the hospital with grandmother when Sushiai called, asking her to accompany Fu Nanking. Another substitute rolled to accompany Fu Nanching. Now it would be real companionship. Sushi, I immediately refused. No, I need to stay and take care of grandmother. Then log into my WeChat and tell him yourself. The password is my birthday. Sushi, I had to comply, otherwise she wouldn't know where the jade pendant was. Sushi, I hung up immediately. Sushi, I quickly logged in. Sushwi had saved his contact as darling husband. It felt so nauseating. Sushi, I carefully typed out husband. Sushwi always started with a coquettish husband. If she didn't do the same, it wouldn't seem like Sushwi. This was really embarrassing. Funanching was in a meeting when his phone dinged several times. He checked and saw messages from Sushwi. Husband, I need to stay home with my mom tonight. Can't come, he immediately replied, then husband won't need company. Mrs. Fu, how long has it been since we've been together? Sushi's face turned bright red, understanding his meaning. She could only force herself to reply, husband, can we meet next time? He raised an eyebrow, detecting that it was Sushi I replying. He quickly sent another message, send me a voice message calling me husband. He actually wanted her to call him husband and voice. Remembering Sushui's sweet, coquettish husband, Susi felt completely uncomfortable. How could she say it? Funanching sent another message. Or would you prefer to come accompany me? Left with no choice. She pressed the voice message button. She called out husband in a soft, delicate voice. Funanching played the girl's gentle, soft husband. That flowed into his ears. He curled his lips, actually smiling. Because the office was so quiet, the girl's husband reached the ears of several executives. Everyone instantly froze. What did they just hear from their CEO's phone? A girl was actually calling him husband. The CEO was being called husband. Foodnatching also realized that others had heard the husband. He turned his head. His hawk-like eyes swept disapprovingly across the executives. The executives hurriedly left with their files. CEO, we didn't hear anything. We'll get back to work. Secretary Song asked CEO for tomorrow night's Fusher banquet, should we invite Ms. Su? Foodnatching knew her well. No need to invite, she probably won't come anyway. Suddenly thinking of something, there's a way to make her come. The Chinese CEO actually invited a little maid to attend the Fusher banquet. What's special was that while others needed invitation cards, she didn't. Sushi I was at the hospital caring for grandmother, carefully covering her with a blanket. Just then her phone rang, it was Foodnatching calling. Why would he call it this time? Sushi I answered hello. The man's deep, magnetic voice came through. I left my watch at your place. Bring it now. I'll send you the banquet address, not returning it earlier or later, but during the Fusher banquet he said, I'll wait for you, and hung up. Susai quietly checked on grandmother before leaving, then sighed and left the hospital. Half an hour later, outside the banquet hall, the legendary mysterious Fu family ruler would appear in Yi City tonight. All upper-class socialites and noble ladies were present. The scene was luxurious and grand. Just then, a luxury business car stopped and Su Air arrived. Flick media photographers excitedly snapped photos. Tonight, Su Air wore a designer black gown. The deep V-neck revealed her sexy cleavage. She was stunningly beautiful, causing quite a sensation upon arrival. As expected of Fusher spokesperson, those legs are amazing. Hearing these praises, Su Air became even more excited. The elderly Mrs. Su held her hand lovingly. Warner has ambition. Grandmother fully supports you. The family was about to enter. Su Air suddenly saw a familiar figure. She was shocked to see Su Ci. Su Ci was here. How did she come? Su Air immediately walked over aggressively. Su Ci, what are you doing here? Su Ci's bright eyes looked at Su Air. Cousin, I just have some business. Su Air laughed. What business could you have? The Fusher banquet isn't a place for just anyone. Do you have an invitation? Su Air showed off her gold-stamped invitation card. Su Ci shook her head. No, I don't. Chun Lian impatiently tried to drive Su Ci away. A country bumpkin like her couldn't possibly have one. Su Ci, leave now. Don't ruin your cousin's big moment. When Su Ci didn't move, Chun Lian immediately shouted, security, security. Several burly security guards came over. Who's causing trouble here? Chun Lian pointed at Su Ci. It's her. She has no invitation but wants to attend the banquet. She's lowering the event standards. The security guard looked at Su Ci. Miss, please show your invitation. Su Ci shook her head. I don't have one. Someone called and asked me to come. Su Air showed contempt. Who? That bald old man you stayed in a hotel with. This is the Fusher banquet? What power could he have to get you in, bald old man? Suer really was addicted to saying that, just hope she wouldn't say it in front of Fu Nanking. Otherwise, Fu Nanking would probably want to see her. Susi playfully winked and said, Cousin, I've already said someone called me here. As for who it is, I can't tell you. Suer had run out of patience and shouted, I don't care who it is, just leave now, stop embarrassing yourself here. Just then a voice suddenly rang out, who dares to make Miss Su leave? Suer looked up. Secretary Song was walking over with some people. Secretary Song came to Susai and respectfully said, Ms. Su, please come this way, I'll take you inside. Susai nodded. Okay, Chun Lian panicked. Wait, she doesn't have an invitation card. How can she go in? Secretary Song looked at them. Ms. Sue is an important guest tonight. You all need invitation cards, but she doesn't. As she left, Susie turned her head, her beautiful eyes glancing at them. She innocently waved and smiled, saying bye-bye Chanli and exploded Warner. She got in without an invitation card. Who exactly is that bald old man? Sewer was also agitated. Mom, forget about it. I've prepared so much for tonight's banquet to connect with the Fu family ruler. We can't let this small matter disturb us. Old Mrs. Sue immediately nodded. Warner is right. We can't delay important matters. With that face of hers, could she possibly catch the Fu family ruler's attention? Sujun laughed. If Susiai could catch the Fu family ruler, I'd call her grandmother. Susiai was led to the back of Song Hotel, not seeing Fu Nanking. She asked, Secretary Song, where is the CEO? He smiled gently. Miss Su, the CEO is busy with the banquet tonight. He'll arrive later. Susai handed the watch to Secretary Song. I just came to return the watch. I don't want to attend the banquet. Since the CEO isn't here, please pass it to him. He quickly refused. That won't do. Ms. Su, please get your makeup and change clothes first. You can give it to the CEO personally at the banquet. He hurried away after speaking. Su Si looked around, wondering if she really needed makeup and new clothes. Just then, the makeup artist approached Ms. Su. Let's do your makeup first. She felt as small as a quail, wondering what was happening. At the Fusher banquet auction, the little maid unexpectedly bid a sky-high price. She could now dance the first opening dance with the billionaire CEO. At the banquet, several socialites surrounded Su Air, envying her. Su Air smirked. This time, Sujia had spent a fortune for her to attend this Fusher banquet, securing this hot coup to address for her. Just then, another man approached Miss Su. May I add you on WeChat? This was the 10th man tonight asking for Su Air's WeChat. Su Air wasn't interested in these men and politely declined, but her vanity was greatly satisfied. A socialite came to her side, excitedly asking later, will the Fu family ruler ask you for the opening dance? Su Air's eyes lit up, but she modestly waved her hand. How could that be possible? I'm just Fusher's jewelry spokesperson. I've never even met him. He'll surely choose the most suitable partner. Suddenly, there was a commotion. Someone asked, who's that? Never seen her before. Which family's daughter is she? She's incredibly beautiful. Su Air turned around and saw an ethereally beautiful figure. As soon as she entered, she instantly drew everyone's attention, outshining all others. Tonight, Susiai had her long red hair styled in an elegant princess updo, looking absolutely stunning. Su Air was shocked, eyes widening. This must have been prepared by that bald man. Even old Mrs. Su and Chun Lian were shocked. The custom-made dress she wore was even more luxurious than Su Ayer's. When Su Si turned her face, there was clearly a scar on it. People started whispering again, why does she have such a big scar on her face? What a shame. Old Mrs. Su was somewhat agitated, muttering regretfully, what a pity, what a pity. If she didn't have that scar, who knows how much benefit she could bring to the Su family. She instructed Su Ayer during the charity auction later, don't worry. Food Natching will definitely invite the female buyer for the opening dance. With the Su family backing you with old Mrs. Su's words, Su Air felt reassured. As long as that scar remained on Su Si's face, she would never rise in the Su family. She would definitely be the winner in the end. Su Si was eating dessert, thinking it was too scary. Even with the fake scar on her face, people still kept approaching her. When would Food Natching finally appear? Suddenly the hall erupted in excitement. Look, the CEO is here. When his tall, imposing figure appeared at the doorway, the hall quickly fell silent. The crowd automatically parted to make way. He entered like an emperor. Susiai stood in a secluded corner, looking towards him along with everyone else, at him who was the center of attention in the lights. She found herself unable to look away. Then she felt his gaze sweep over, seemingly landing on her casually. Susiai quickly avoided his gaze. He wore classic attire, his style truly noble and cold, extraordinary. The overwhelming CEO aura made all the socialites present blush. Funanching was even more superior than she had imagined. I must have him, thought Su Air. Just as Su Si was about to return the watch, she suddenly heard the host's booming voice. Distinguished guests, the Fu Corporation charity banquet officially begins. The first auction item is provided by our CEO, a crown worn by a foreign queen in her youth temporarily in private hands. It was collected by our CEO's mother. The item itself is precious enough, but the winner will also get to dance with today's protagonist, our CEO. Is everyone excited? Starting price is 5 million, raising your hand counts as a bit. Each increment must be at least 500,000. The atmosphere instantly heated up. Everyone was enthusiastic. 5.5 million, 6 million, 7 million. Su Ayer saw the timing was right, she immediately raised her hand. 7.5 million, as she was about to win, her heart pounded. It seemed the first dance would be hers. Had he fallen in love with her at first sight? Just then another voice rang out 100 million. Everyone looked towards the source. They saw Susai. It was unfair, she had just been watching, neither moving nor raising her hand. She wouldn't join the battle for food nanching. But just now, a socialite beside her suddenly shouted 100 million, then pushed her hand and ran away. So everyone thought she had made the bid. The host brought down the gavel, 100 million, going once twice sold. Just as Susie was about to explain, she was invited onto the stage. Susai looked at Fu Naking's incomparably handsome face as he stood tall and straight. There behind him, the city's elite were also watching her. Their eyes met and Susai felt nervous. She thought there might still be time to explain. He interrupted her softly. Want to dance with me? Fu Nanching gentlemanly bowed, sincerely extending his hand to invite her to dance. Suer watched this scene, nearly dropping her jaw. Originally, Fu Naking's first dance should have belonged to her, but Susai had suddenly appeared and bid 100 million. 100 million from this country clown girl. Suer immediately spoke up, stopped joking around. How could you have 100 million for the auction? Chun Lion, receiving his daughter's hint, immediately stood up. Susai, you just came back from the countryside. Forget 100 million, you probably can't even come up with 10,000, this is fraud. People whispered below, she's that ugly girl the Su family brought back. No money but pulling this stunt. Attention seeking? After all, she's from the countryside, never seen such occasions, just wants attention. Su Air seized the opportunity to rush onto the stage, reaching out to pull Su Ci. Come down with me, but she couldn't reach her because Fu Nanking stepped forward, standing in front of Su Ci. Su Air quickly withdrew her hand in fear, her heart pounding. Fu Nanking bent slightly. He extended his hand again, inviting her to dance once more. Su Ci was stunned, feeling a bit embarrassed, but instinctively reached out her hand. Su Air became anxious, shouting, CEO, I'm not lying to you, she's making a joke of charity. She's not worthy to dance with you. Su Ci honestly said, CEO, I have no money. Fu Nanking slowly curved his thin lips. It doesn't matter, just tell me one thing, do you want to dance with me? The tall, handsome CEO actually paid an astronomical price just to invite the little maid to dance romantically. And in front of everyone, he passionately kissed Su Ci. Su Ci shook her head, honestly saying, CEO, I'll say it again, I have no money. Everyone burst into laughter, starting to mock her. She has no money. She didn't bid anything. Ha ha ha, poor people, maybe watch too many romance dramas, dreaming of catching the CEO's eye. As if he would like her, don't make me laugh. Fu Nanching also slowly curved his lips, saying 3 words. Little poor thing, Susai was speechless. That 100 million bid wasn't hers at all, she really had no money. Then Fu Nanching spoke again, I'm just asking if you want to. Susai didn't answer him, which he took his agreement. Everyone was dumbfounded, no longer able to laugh. What was going on? The CEO seemed interested in that girl. Did they know each other? Wasn't she from the countryside? How could she know the CEO? Fu Nanking raised an eyebrow, reluctantly saying, since you have no money, I'll pay the 100 million for you. Secretary Song quickly wrote out a check, then threw it into the box. The host voice brightened. The CEO has donated 100 million to charity in Monsieur's name, everyone. Please applaud. Fu Nanking looked at the girl before him, slowly raising his firm jaw, rather proudly saying, little poor thing, what are you spacing out for? Hurry up and invite me to dance. Saucy's delicate frame trembled in panic. He just donated 100 million just like that, just to dance with her. Now with everyone watching, she couldn't even run away. Her fair fingers tugged at her dress hem. Saucy awkwardly imitated a gentleman's manner, one hand behind her back, the other extended toward him. CEO, may I have this dance? Fu Nanking offered his well-defined hand to her. Yes, Susai took his large hand and walked toward the center of the dance floor. At this moment, melodious music began playing. Fu Nanking extended one arm, wrapping it around her soft, slender waist. He pulled her close to himself. Everything happening today was too sudden. Susai thought for a moment, then explained, although you helped me out of this situation, that 100 million wasn't my bit. Fu Nanching smiled, whether it was you or not, everyone here today saw you spend a fortune just to dance with me. Susai cooperatively softened her body, following his lead. Susai was speechless. Wasn't he the one who spent a fortune? She looked sincerely at Fu Nanching, CEO, thank you for today's matter and for helping my grandmother. He kissed her the next second. If you want to thank me, you can try different ways next time. Su Air was furious. After preparing for so many days, Su Ci ended up taking the prize. Why him? At this moment, the music reached its climax. Fu Nanching gently pushed her soft waist, and Su Ci spun several circles. The brilliant rose dress floated in the air. Soon, the man held her soft waist and pulled her back. He whispered, Susai, you're beautiful tonight. The dance ended, thunderous applause erupted. Shunlian immediately stood up, loudly saying, CEO, don't be fooled by her. Usually family shame shouldn't be aired, but I'm afraid you'll be deceived. I have to reveal Susie's shameful deeds. Susie, I looked at her aunt, somewhat guessing what she wanted to say. She kindly advised, Aunt, I suggest some words are better left unsaid. She said it anyway. What were you doing at Song's Club last Friday night? Weren't you in a room with a bald old man? It's absolutely true, we have photos. We failed to discipline our niece properly. Secretary Song recalled and quickly froze. Wasn't Miss Sue with their CEO that night? This would be interesting. They dared to call their CEO a bald old man. Their CEO had such thick hair. How could he be called a bald old man? Sure enough, Funaking's hawk-like cold eyes shot directly at them. Sue Air had a shot in Freud expression. She smirked at Sue Ci as if saying, you're done for now. Food Nanching moved his thin lips first. I don't want to see these people anymore, throw them all out. After speaking, he turned to leave. Sue Air doubted her hearing. Why weren't they throwing Sue Ci out but them instead? CEO, what my parents said is true, I'm Fusher jewelry spokesperson. I'm supposed to showcase jewelry later. Funanching stop, you remind me. The spokesperson spread rumors damaging Fusher's reputation. Pay the breach of contract penalty and the contract is automatically terminated. Sue Air tried to speak but was dragged away by security. Their actions were very rough. Outside, they threw her to the ground with a thud. Tonight, Sue Air wore a black dress with a high slit when she fell. She couldn't cover her exposed parts. It quickly attracted passersby. Those men looked at her lewdly, pointing and commenting. Look at that woman. Sue Air quickly covered her chest, gritting her teeth hard. It shouldn't be like this. Shouldn't Susie be the one thrown out? Why was it her? At this moment, Madame Sue's angry voice rang out. What's going on here? Sue Air's eyes welled up with tears pitifully. Grandmother, I don't know. Madame Sue raised her hand and slapped her heart. You don't know yet you used it as evidence. I thought you were the most promising child in the Sue family. I invested so much in you. How can you be so stupid? Sue Air's left cheek was bright red from the slap. She hatefully gritted her teeth. Susai, this isn't over between us. Susai immediately yawned, who was cursing at her. Chapter 15 ended. Susai didn't stay there any longer. She quickly left and entered the bathroom. At this moment, Ding Yishin's phone suddenly rang. A WeChat message came. He opened it to check. He had forgotten to log out of Su Shi's account. The message was from Fu Nanching. Simple and familiar words that made his heart race. Come keep me company tonight. If you don't come tonight, you can forget about being a rich wife. For the jade pendant, he had no choice but to go. Taking a deep breath, he calmly replied, Husband, why are you being mean to me? I'm coming now. Ugh, it gave him goosebumps. The billionaire CEO was such a flirt, making the little maid blush and even giving her an expensive diamond necklace. Sushu had already gotten the 3 peach blossom birthmarks tattooed. She officially notified Sushui that her stand-in mission was over. Late at night, Fu Nanking walked into the room. He saw Sushui was already asleep. He bent down, his soft, cool, thin lips kissing her cheek. He was kissing her. Seeing her open her eyes, he said hoarsely, You're awake. You went asleep without waiting for me. As he spoke, he was about to kiss her again. Susie, I couldn't handle his intimacy and quickly said, Wait, let's chat first. Fu Nanking looked at the naturally beautiful girl, delicate and charming. Chat about what? Do you think I'm a 3-year-old? Susie, I sat up in panic, face blushing. I haven't showered yet. The next second, she fled into the bathroom. Fu Nanching lay on the bed, time passed. He turned to his side, smiling. She's being shy. Susai came out and Fu Nanching called to her, Come here, I'll dry your hair. Susai walked over and obediently sat down. He took the hair dryer and started drying. For some reason, Susai felt a bit down. Was this